It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal.
There's a new turn of events involving a lady who has taken legal action asserting that famous music mogul Diddy Combs, along with one of his personal security guards, violated her. Graves has recently lodged a civil lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs. On top of this, she's pointing the finger at another party. In 2001, a man known as Jospe Big Joe Sherman, who worked as a bodyguard, was also involved in this case. According to Graves, Sherman physically assaulted her.
In her lawsuit, Thalia, through her attorneys, sues Sean Diddy Combs, also known as the defendant, and another individual and other entities. The complaint alleges in part, in the first cause of action, that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a, quote, violation of New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act.
And Sherman is not taking this accusation lightly. In fact, he's strongly denying that anything like this ever happened. And here's where the plot thickens. Sherman isn't just sitting back and letting these allegations fly in the wind. He's gearing up his defense, so prepare yourself because he's planning to take some firm legal steps in response. The audacity. He's planning to file a lawsuit against Graves in response. We all know that Sean Diddy is currently in jail, without the ability to be freed on bail and facing not one, not two, but 3 serious federal charges. These charges include conspiracy of racketeering, forcing someone into adult trafficking using deception or threats, and transporting individuals for the purpose of prostitution. Diddy insists he is not guilty of these charges. His lawyer confidently says Sean is eager to have his day in court as soon as possible and prove his innocence. In fact, Sean has even shared with a documentary team from TMZ, a popular entertainment news outlet, that he plans to stand up in court and testify on his own behalf whenever his trial finally takes place. Diddy's legal roller coaster began last year on November 2023. That's when an unexpected bombshell dropped when Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit that really rocked the boat. She accused Sean of assaulting and harming her on multiple occasions over several years.
I do believe in karma if you're hurting people, but I think everybody's entitled to, having that moment, I guess.
And that's not all. In this lawsuit, she also alleges that Sean forced her into adult activities without her consent. And now another woman with another allegation has popped up, making all the previous allegations true. Thalia Graves has filed a legal case, which is the 11th one in less than a year. The time had come to take this step. Thalia was sitting with her lawyer, Gloria Allred, at a press conference against Diddy.
Thalia alleges that she has suffered and continues to suffer, among other damages, emotional harm, including mental anguish, emotional distress, humiliation, and physical damage.
She said that they assaulted her forcefully in a place called the Bad Boy Record Studio in New York. This took place back in 2001. The case also explains that Thalia was 25 years old then, and she was seeing one of Combs' workers. It's alleged that Combs took advantage of this connection to trick Thalia into meeting him and Sherman alone. Once they successfully got Thalia alone, Combs and Sherman offered her a drink. The drink may have contained a substance because it caused Thalia to momentarily lose awareness. When she regained consciousness, she realized she was tied up and not able to move. She bravely shared that these 2 people violated her in unspeakable ways. One can guess that it was deeply distressing for her. Thalia said that she was physically hurt and an utterly degrading act. She shared that even though she was tearful and clearly distressed, this did not stop their brutal actions.
The person who told your client about the video described in the lawsuit?
We cannot disclose who we're in contact with in order to have investigated this claim or any investigation that may ensue after this press conference.
Gloria,
I want to add that if any
This horrifying incident has left an indelible mark on Graves. She has been unable to fully recover from the violent assault. The pain was so deep that she even contemplated ending her life and sought help from mental health professionals after suffering from this traumatic experience. The worst part is that for years, she was too scared to speak up, fearing they would use their influence to destroy her life even further, as they had consistently threatened to do. Even today, Graves continues to live in fear. She suffers from severe depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. This terrible incident continues to cast a long shadow over her life, constantly reminding her of the fear caused by the accused persons. Thalia had been gradually recovering from a terrible attack over many years. But everything changed around 27 November 2023. She discovered something shocking that pulled her back into pain. Imagine her anxiety when she found out that Combs and Sherman had not just committed that awful act 22 years ago, but also had filmed it. But that's not all. They had been showing this horrifying video to several other guys around them. The purpose was to embarrass and make fun of Thalia and her boyfriend in front of everyone. It wasn't just a direct attack on Thalia, but a cruel act of public humiliation as well.
The complaint, this alleged incident occurred in 2001, but your client learned about the existence of the video in 2023, more than 20 years after. I'm curious how she learned about the existence of that video.
Yeah, so the question is, she alleges that the incident took place in 2001, but you are saying that it is alleged in the complaint that was filed that she learned about it in 2022. And then the question is, how did she learn about it? We have no comment in response to that question.
Gloria, has Diddy reached out to your client?
Excuse me?
Has Diddy reached out to your client?
Question is, has Diddy reached out to her? We will not comment on that either.
Gloria, I know this is very difficult for your clients, but would you be able to share a little bit of her background? Where did she come from, or what did she do? Can you give us some details about your client, please?
No, I can't provide further details about where she came from.
According to the filed lawsuit, it was on 27 November 2023 when Graves stumbled upon the shocking revelation. Now, this really makes you scratch your head and wonder, how on earth did she manage to uncover it? It's no secret that Cassie Ventura was in possession of a video that displayed her getting mistreated by Combs. Could it be possible that this video somehow found its way to Graves from Cassie? However, the timing of this whole situation is pretty coincidental. This entire discovery would have taken place right after Cassie had resolved her own legal issues with Sean Combs. Graves' lawyer, Gloria Allred, said that apparently, the complaint is that this video was filmed without Graves knowing about it or even agreeing to participate in it. She most certainly would not have given her consent had she known. Regrettably, this video was then released for others to see, and that's not the end of it. The video might still be floating around.
Other person has any evidence that might relate to our complaint? We, of course, would be happy to speak on a confidential basis with any person who may wish to contact us and provide us whatever evidence they wish to provide, and we would thank them for it.
Your client has said that she suffered years and years of trauma, depression, anxiety because of this alleged attack. Did she come to you after the indictment last week? I'm asking because I'm wondering if those charges...
Okay, the question is, did she come to me after the indictment last week? No.
And as a follow-up, how is your client feeling after those 3 charges were brought against Holmes, even though he denies them?
How is she feeling after...
Gloria Allred, without ever watching this particular videotape, doesn't want to share her opinions about it. Equally, she's not saying whether she's had a discussion with the federal folks about it or if Thalia Graves has.
After the charges?
After the criminal charges
Yes.
were filed?
Yes.
and that he has been arraigned. Okay.
The details written in the lawsuit have more explanation. Thalia's boyfriend was working at Bad Boy Records, and he dreamed of climbing up the company's ranks. Thalia, being a supportive partner, was dedicated to helping him achieve his dreams. Then, one day, she got a phone call from Sean, who was concerned about his supposedly poor performance at work. Sean said he wanted to sit down and chat in person about what was going on, so Thalia agreed to meet. Looking back now, she views this as a cruel and calculated move by Sean. She believes he abused his position at Bad Boy Records to exploit and demean her so he could show off his power and embarrass her boyfriend, who was a top executive at Sean's record label. The story takes a darker turn as Thalia describes a particular incident. As recalled by Thalia, Sean and his buddy Sherman came to pick her up from her mom's home in Queens. Sean offered her a glass of wine, which she accepted before starting to talk about his concerns regarding her boyfriend's work performance. As she was sipping the given drink, she started to feel weird, light on her feet, dizzy, and lacking physical strength. Thalia is convinced that Sean mixed something nasty into her drink because a little bit of wine had never given her such a strange experience before.
Can you tell us how your client came to meet Diddy? How she got
How
involved?
can I tell you how my client
Met Diddy?
met Diddy? I am not going to expand on those details at this press conference, but you know, any member of the public or press, you know, is of course permitted to see whatever is in the complaint that has been filed in the Southern District of New York.
Gloria, has your client been in
Thalia found herself conscious once more, somehow missing her clothes and her hands secured behind her back with what she guessed was a plastic bag from the grocery store. She called out, seeking help. In reply, Sherman picked her up from the sofa and, without a hint of gentleness, made her face meet the surface of what she believed was a pool table. Not long after this, Combs came into the room, also not clothed. As per the details noted in the lawsuit, Combs had a substance that had a scent similar to menthol. Diddy, involved in this horrifying situation, was said to have laid Thalia on a table and then violated her. The court documents mention that at a certain point during this terrible incident, Graves felt sick and had to vomit. Yet, all these did not make Combs stop his actions. She was in extreme discomfort and was in a state of great distress. Her dress was not on her, but had been tossed over her. Her bag was beside her on the couch, and her bra was discarded on the floor somewhere close. Her undergarments were nowhere to be seen. The document tells us that she was in a lot of pain, and her wrists were marked with bruises. The person who drove her to the hospital tried to get her to report this horrible event and suggested she should get an examination, which could help in such cases. But Thalia was so frightened and upset she couldn't leave the vehicle. She was weeping uncontrollably and shaking in fear, worried about what might happen to her and her family if she filed a report against Combs. Thalia Graves opened up about how this terrible incident has affected her life. She was very emotional as she talked about how traumatic the experience was for her. She expressed that the harm done to her wasn't just physical during the incident, but had deeper, lasting effects. Graves said the pain she was feeling seeped deep into his very being, leaving lasting emotional wounds that might not ever completely heal. She confided that some of the hardest parts of this incident were feelings of shame and guilt that she experienced, which often negatively impacted her ability to go about his daily routines. She admitted that being blamed, questioned, and threatened only added to these feelings, often leaving her feeling as though she had no value, felt alone, and even bearing some responsibility for the unfortunate circumstances she found himself in. Adding to the pain was the lack of familial support. Graves was navigating through the choppy waters of a divorce when the assault happened, and she said the support she so desperately needed was not there. Thalia added that she even faced disbelief and judgment, which only added to her emotional load. Graves shared that all these experiences have affected how she views and chooses relationships with men. It was not uncommon for these relationships to turn violent and abusive, leading her to feel even more isolated in her struggles.
And judgment. This has put a strain on my selection of men and relationships. where many relationships became aggressive and abusive, which has made me feel even more alone in my struggles. I go through spells of being distant and withdrawn that it's sometimes so hard to leave my house. The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health.
Thalia mentions how this event has made it difficult for her to believe in people and to form good friendships. It's even challenging for her to feel comfortable in her own body. She's constantly dealing with memories that pop up without warning, nightmares, and thoughts that intrude into her daily life, making things tough.
That plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. Being blamed, questioned, and threatened has often made me feel worthless, isolated, and sometimes responsible for what happened to me.
On top of these emotional problems, Thalia also has physical issues. She experiences chronic, ongoing pain, discomfort, and other health problems that were caused by what she endured during the incident. These physical problems just add to her emotional stress, getting her stuck in a painful cycle that's extremely tough to get out of. Despite these challenges, Thalia is determined to keep striving for recovery and healing. She finds some temporary relief knowing that the person responsible is in custody, but she understands that this is just a small step towards regaining her life and happiness. Thalia's lawyer, Gloria Allred, faced a series of questions. One of those was whether Graves had been communicating with other people who were accusing Sean Combs. Gloria explained that she cannot share who they are talking to for the purpose of looking into this accusation or any future lookovers that may happen after the press conference.
Be clear.
We don't ever view pornographic videos, even if they might end up being evidence in the case. And we do not transmit any such video, if we have it, to any other person, because we do not think it is permitted under the law.
Gloria, Elizabeth Wagmeister from CNN.
Would you please speak up? It's hard to hear you.
Yes, sorry, I'm back here and a bit short. In the complaint, you noted that your client learned about this video in November 2023. That is around the time of the first public lawsuit, at least, against Sean Combs from his ex-girlfriend Cassie. I'm curious how you and your client learned about the existence of this video.
You're saying that this incident is alleged to have occurred about the time of another lawsuit having been filed? I can't.
Gloria further added if there's anyone else out there who may have any sort of proof that could be connected to their case, they would be more than happy to have a private discussion with them. If they would like to share their proof with Gloria's team, they are open to it. Joe Sherman, the bodyguard of Sean Combs, is also mentioned several times in this legal action. He insists that he did not play a role in this alleged attack. In a post on Instagram, Joe posted his side of the story, asking for patience while his publicist and lawyers prepared their evidence.
Really, I'm not able to comment on or expand upon any evidence or anything that might have evidentiary value at this time.
Gloria, there's an allegation in the lawsuit that the video was made available for sale. Can you elaborate on that? And was Mr. Combs related
There's an
to that?
allegation that the video was made available to whom?
For sale?
That was made available for sale.
Correct. That's new. There have been other accusers, other women who have said that they believe they were filmed and that the videos were shared, but I think this might be the first complaint allegation that the video was made available for sale somehow.
Joe Sherman is a well-known figure in the world of entertainment and once guarded celebrities. He strongly disputes the baseless and false accusations against him in relation to an alleged incident with Sean Diddy Combs in 2001.
What we have alleged in the lawsuit to what others have previously alleged in their lawsuits. So I can't tell you whether this is the first that has alleged that this video was made available for sale or not.
Would Mr. Combs be involved in that alleged sale?
Yeah. There are no other details that we can provide
So you
in
filed,
reference to the videos.
so you filed it today, right? That's what's filed today, right?
Yes, the lawsuit was filed this morning. And we have a case number, which I have provided, and we will pass around to provide my statement, which includes the case number. And this is part of the first page of the complaint. So you want to stand up and hold this?
Sherman says that he was not working for Combs at the time of the alleged incident and claims to have never interacted with the person accusing him. Throughout his career, he has always been professional and honest. He refuses to be linked to this made-up tale or what he deems as an obvious attempt to get money, as Graves is now asking for a reward or compensation. The exact amount isn't said, but she wants to receive both compensatory damages, which means money to help fix the harm she's been through, and extra money to punish the individuals who hurt her. On top of that, she wants a judge to make a legal order. This order would make Combs and Sherman destroy any videos or pictures they have of the assault. They couldn't share those videos or images in the future either. Sharing the video of Graves' supposed assault without her permission goes against a law in New York City. That's according to the legal action she took. This law is known as the Administrative Code 10180. Sherman's legal team is preparing to file a defamation lawsuit as they believe the allegation is nothing more than a scheme to take advantage of the current situation involving Combs. His companies are also being sued. Combs' civil attorney also had previously denied any allegations of adult trafficking and molestation against Combs. It should be noted that trafficking is not a part of the claims in Thalia Graves' lawsuit.
On anyone with whom she has been in contact or who has contacted her, because those would be private conversations. So we will maintain the privacy of those conversations. But one thing I don't know if whomever contacted her wanted their conversation to be confidential, so I can't comment on that. Thank you for the question.
Gloria,
Anything else?
yes, Gloria, this tape, was it secretly made or was
Imagine you're 34 years old, and you've won awards for your music like those shiny Grammy trophies. But instead of standing on stage, accepting more awards, you're standing in a courtroom. This is what is happening to Diddy right now, because if these claims turn out to be true, he might have to spend all his remaining life in a place no one wants to be prison, despite saying he didn't do it. He's still waiting for his trial.
your client aware that she was being taped during the alleged assault and now has found out that the tape is out there? Or did she never even know that she was being taped during the alleged assault?
I can't comment on the degree of consciousness or lack of consciousness or awareness of Thalia during the alleged rape and during the alleged video taping of the rape.
His lawyers tried twice to get him out on a $50 million bond, but both times they were unsuccessful. Now, he's stuck in an infamous jail in Brooklyn called the Metropolitan Detention Center, out of all the places in New York's 5 boroughs. This is the only one that's a federal prison. So, for now, he's not making any more music. Instead, he's behind bars, waiting for a chance to prove he's innocent. This happens when you take fame and money for granted and overlook the responsibilities that accompany them. Fame and fortune can create an environment where power imbalance often blurs the lines between right and wrong. Wrap up. So, guys, what are your thoughts? Do you also think that Thalia Graves is speaking facts or just taking advantage of Combs' weak position? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more news updates. Thanks for watching.